Welcome everyone, Big Al here. You may remember this blower from my Good Friday 2024 free stuff video. This is an Echo PB 2100. This was a freebie from a garage clean out on a property. It was a sort of workbench covered by lawn cushions is where I found this at. Quite a surprise to uncover. At least that kept the dust off of it. The unit is in great shape and fairly clean. In the free stuff video, when I was first looking at it, it was leaking fuel, but it did fire up. I don't think it's drawing up no fuel. Then again, though, it's starting to draw some fuel there. But look at that. I think the bulb's gone bad in it. Make sure I won't start me. Oh yeah. Well, it starts. I was talking to my buddy Colin at HIPA Store .Com about this blower, and he offered to send me a complete revival kit for this unit. I will put the link to this kit in the description in the video. These HIPA kits are perfect for situations like this where I got a great piece of equipment that I know still has some life in it. For one low price, I can get everything I need to replace probably 20-year-old parts on this blower and make it like new again. Just go to HIPAstore.com, put your model number in, and see if they got what you need, because if you want good low prices and fast delivery on your parts that you need, HIPA really does make fixing your machine a lot easier. Let's get that air cleaner off of there. See what that looks like. That was up tight. Inside cover's pretty clean. It's not actually awful bad there. Can see where some fuel was gathered right there. So this carburetor is definitely not working right. That's why I got fuel all over my hands when I was first trying to crank it. Echo ain't scared. They're just like, use a wooden screwdriver. They ain't scared for you to work on something. It's not actually really that dirty. It's okay. Now I need to pull my fuel lines off of there. Those fuel lines definitely look like they need to be changed. Oh man, I'm leaking fuel everywhere here. Got pressure in the gas tank. At least I know the gas tank holds air pressure. Those fuel lines actually have no breach to them, but they do need to be changed out. Yeah, there's a lot of gasoline all over this carburetor. It's definitely been belching fuel out of it. It's barbecue baked, I believe. Let's take a look at what HIPA actually sent me with this kit. There was a envelope here and then a box here. I want to make sure that it has the gaskets with it and everything. I believe it does. It has that gasket. That has our new carburetor with it. Our new fuel line set up, and that does have a new gasket. We also get our new fuel pickup filter and our new air filter. Couple of primer bulbs here and a new spark plug. Oh, we have a metric to standard or whatever conversion chart you need to use to convert sizes. That's something pretty cool to keep in your toolbox. They also sent me this magnet. That's pretty cool. Well, let's get this cool HIPA restoration kit installed here and get this blower to running. Subscriber actually suggested this to me in the comments one time. Take a clothes hanger, just pull it like that, pull it together. You can kind of do it like that. Makes a good tool to get fuel lines out of your tank. That's working. I have a hold of it. Any DIY guy is going to do that. That's pretty nasty. Now that I have that out of there, I can get this grommet off of here that contains these fuel lines. Okay. And there you go. That's the setup for this fuel system. I did a video about your Echo using too much fuel. These caps are notorious for that rubber seal right there wearing out and your fuel tank leaking. You noticed at first when I let that fuel line go that this tank had pressure in it and pushed fuel out. So I know this seal is good. But if you start using fuel or your Echo's not running quite right, another thing is to check this gas cap and make sure your seal is good on that. You can find them on eBay. It's a good idea to occasionally blow these things out because they take in a lot of air and debris that you're stirring up. And your air filter too is another important thing to keep an eye on with these blowers. If they get stopped up and they don't get the proper air, they're sure not going to run right, and they're sure not going to last you a very long time. So it's a good idea to keep on top of your regular maintenance. Fortunately, with this unit, it's fairly clean. When I was blowing it out, I seen very little debris come out of the shield, and I'll probably do another final blowout on it, but it's really a clean unit to start with. Especially good. It's free and clean. We'll take a look at the fuel setup and what we need to do to get this fuel tank replumbed. So this is what we're working with. This is the new HIPA Carburetor. We compare them, they look basically the same thing. Can't tell one from the other. And we have our grommet and our fuel line set up here. And we have this fuel line here, which is going to be coming out of this grommet, connected by this little brass rod here. Then ultimately we'll have our fuel pickup and fuel filter. Let's get that on there about like that. And then we're going to run that into our grommet. Then I'm going to attach this fuel line on this side. Then I'll hook up my fuel filter pickup. Now so far I have the same setup as this is. I'm going to pull this return line in just a little bit from the top there. Same deal with this vent tube here. Let's get those about like that. Okay, if you just keep twisting it and turning it, it'll eventually work its way in there. Make sure you got your grommet turned to where this vent's going to sit in this slot right here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to need to do is get rid of this old gasket right here. I'm going to pull that off. Actually, that didn't stick to it too bad, not as bad as I thought it was going to. These are Phillips head screws. Another screw right here. And I have another screw kind of right up under this cage right here. Okay, this is a T15. I have to take these two hex nuts out of here. Can pull the cover completely off, I got to take my spark plug out. Okay, I got some grease gun grease and I'm gonna prep my gaskets up here. This will make gaskets last 20 years, believe it or not. Maybe longer. That way, if you ever have to take your carburetor back off, these won't be all sticky to whatever surface you got them on. Okay, I'm going to make what I call my carburetor sandwich now. And it's very important that you pay attention to these gaskets they give you with this kit. You've got this little opening right here. You want to make sure that you got the right gasket on there. Okay, this gasket is going to go on first. You want to make sure you got your choke lever going that way. So I've got this gasket on there. You see my Phillips head screws are going through there. And that makes my carburetor sandwich. Okay, on your fuel lines, you look in the gas tank. You can see how they come up in your grommet right there. This is my fuel line right here that goes to the fuel pickup and fuel filter. That is going to go on this curved inlet right there. Just like that. Your return line or your purge line is going to go in the top, on the top part here where your primer bulb is. Put you a little bit of fuel in the tank and just see to it that you're drawing fuel here up into this bulb. And you can see I'm drawing fuel there. And then I've got my vent snapped in right here. Another thing I want to do is mount my throttle control rod. Put it in there just like that. Get my carburetor on here. Okay, if you'll look, you can see I've got my rod stuck in the throttle. Now I'm going to get it back in behind this handle here, or this control lever, just like that. And you can test it, and you know you done it right. Okay, so I've got everything hooked up as far as my new carburetor here. I have my fuel lines hooked up. I know I'm drawing fuel through those lines. I have my throttle hooked back up. The next thing I want to address is my spark arrestor. A lot of these units, maybe not all, have a spark arrestor right here on the muffler on the front. While I got this cover off, I'm going to service that, make sure that's clear. That's your cover for it right there. You want to clean all of this out. You'll see that's your spark arrestor here. The screen itself actually looks fairly good. That needs a lot of cleanup though. You can see where all that's carboned up there. You want to clean all that up. I'm going to take some carbon choke cleaner and just spray this off and wipe it off. We'll spray out and clean our cover piece as well. Okay, I think I have thoroughly cleaned my spark arrestor parts. So make sure your screen is clear. Make sure there's no debris blocking this retaining plate here. And I have cleaned up my cover best I could there. That's not going to come perfectly clean. Just make sure there's no solid debris in there. Want to also clean up the face of the muffler there where the mount is. Okay, I'm also going to remove this muffler and inspect in behind here and make sure that my exhaust ports aren't clogged up, that there's no debris there. And I'm using a T25 to do that. If those are hard to get out, you may want to spray some WD-40 or some PB Blast or something to get them loosened up and let them sit a bit before you try to pull them out. Fortunately, these are coming right out. You'll have a gasket that sits behind that muffler there. Don't mess with that if you don't have to. I mainly want to make sure this port right here is clear. Clean that off a little bit. I can pull this plate off of here and kind of clean this up also. Get some of that dirt and debris, old crud off of this. You especially want to clean these around where it mounts at. I'll wipe off this mount right here. Just while you got a second, you can clean out some of these cavities. If there's anything in there, I've already blown this thing out with some air pretty well. You know, you could spend all day cleaning something, or you can go use it. Okay, I have this reasonably cleaned up now. I'm gonna stick that back in place here. I'm going to spray out my muffler with some carb cleaner. Let's make sure all that's cleaned out. Then I'm going to take some compressed air and blow it out. Okay, my muffler is reasonably clean. I know there's no debris in it. So we're ready to go back on with it. And just make sure that your rubber gasket here is still in place. If not, you'll need to get one for it. Okay, I'm reinstalling my T25 hex nuts here. Like I said, this is a T25. Snug those down. Okay, now I'm ready to go back on with my spark arrestor. First thing is going to be this screen that sits in here just like that. And then this cover is going to go over the top of that. And then this piece sits on top of that. Now we'll reinstall our 3 screws. These are Phillips head screws. We'll have one more screw right here in the back. Make sure all 3 of those are snug. As you can see, our spark arrestor has been serviced, and that whole area is nice and clean and looks a lot better. So we have no worries there. I sprayed a little degreaser in the muffler area of that cover, so I want to clean that out. Just kind of as a little extra measure there, just for the heck of it. Okay, I've been kind of cleaning on my cover here. Main thing is I just wanted to clean out the area where the muffler sits. Just kind of get any kind of debris out of there, or any crud out of there. As you can see, that's looking a whole lot better there. Got a little bit of gunk off the handle. It's kind of a general little quick cleanup. Okay, I'm ready to go back on with this outer cover now. One thing you want to make sure of is this spark plug wire don't get compromised between your plastic pieces here. So you want to make sure this is up under this, and you're going to have a slot that comes through right there. Okay, like I say, just make sure when your cover goes together, your spark plug wire is not compromised behind that pinch point right there. Phillips head screws that go back in this handle. Then there's another screw right here. Then we have two T15s that go in right here. Okay, and that completes getting our outer cover back on. Okay, we're looking at our new HIPA spark plug, and we're looking at the plug that we took out. This is a 3/4 socket. Terrific. Three-quarter socket. I just get a spark plug nice and snug, not too tight. Next thing I need to do is get my new air filter on, and I'll be ready to try it. Okay, and changing this air filter, our HIPA filter looks nice and clean. This one's about ready for a change. It even smells like gasoline. When they get like that, you definitely want to change them. Okay, we're going to stick that in. It has a shape to it. You can't go wrong. Just put it in like that, and you're ready to stick it on. And that's our new air filter installed. A lot of people ask me, they say, why Al, why do you buy that expensive fuel in the can? Yes, this is about $9 a can, almost $10, around $10 at Napa. Yeah, it costs a little bit more, but I have a lot less problems with my two-stroke engines if I run this fuel, and it's consistent. I don't have to worry about mixing fuel, so I know it's going to run the same every time that I use it. So yeah, we'll add some of that in now. I don't want to fill it all the way up until I know I don't have any fuel problems. So I'm just going to empty out what's left in this can. That should be enough to clear my fuel pickup so we can do a test. After I get this running, let it idle for about maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm going to start adjusting these screws. Now this is the idle screw right here, I've got that set up kind of high to start with, and I will adjust that, and I'll also adjust the idle speed and the max speed, or what they call the WOT, the wide open throttle speed. I'll be testing those after I get the carburetor set. Well, okay friends, this is the moment of truth. Take our kill switch off. So let's see what happens. Well, it fired. If you'll notice, I have one of these inductance RPM gauges here, or tachometers. You have to wrap a wire around your spark plug lead there 4 or 5 times, and then you run it into a little holder there on the bottom of that readout. So I'll be looking at that, trying to get my speed. I'm going to be looking for around 2,500 RPM on my idle, and I'm going to be looking for no more than 7,200 or so for my WOT, or my wide open throttle speed. Reason I got this towel under it is I'm on a cement floor here. I'm trying to keep it from walking all over the place while I attempt to adjust it. In fact, I've got it over here. I've got it kind of held with my fire extinguisher in my toolbox there to keep it from walking off too far, because when a blower is going to just walk off with you if it's sitting on a cement floor. Okay, I have let this thing idle for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to attempt to set my acceleration and my idle and my wide open throttle speeds. Okay, it's been about 4 days since I shot video on this PB2100. I'm very happy with the way it's working. I've been taking it out with me in the field and using it. I probably used it a total of maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and I've had no problem so far. It starts up cold very well. Once it does start up, it does the warm starts very well. Behind it, you'll notice a BG65 steel. I've also been taking that out with me for a long time. That's also a HIPA kit rebuild right there, and it's been doing great also. And I've used that a lot more hours than I've used the PB2100 there with the new kit on it, but it's doing great also. And we'll do a cold start on it now, and I'll show you it's doing just great. Off with the kill switch. I'm going to turn the choke wide open. I'm going to prime my carburetor about 6 or 7 times, and then just pull it. It's running great. Like I say, I've had no problems. It's doing great. It works fine. What more can I say? And also on the BG65 steel, I've used that many hours since I put the HIPA rebuild kit in it, and it still does great too. Kill switch off, choke. Choke all the way. Those HIPA kits work great for me, and I appreciate HIPA sending me the refurbished kit for both of these units. And if you want to watch the video for the steel BG65, just check my playlist. I also put one of those kits in a backpack steel blower also, and it's doing great as well. Okay, that's reviving an Echo PB2100 power blower. Let's recap. I had determined that the initial problem in the video where I assessed this machine to begin with, that the carburetor was defective. So thanks to my friends at HIPA Store .Com, I got this complete kit for the Echo PB2100 blower. That included new gaskets, that included my new air filter, new spark plug, and a replacement carburetor. It also came with 2 replacement primer bulbs, one of which I put on this OEM carburetor, and it actually drew fuel when I hooked it up to a gas tank, so I'm sure it's probably fine. The kit also included the new fuel lines and a new grommet and a new air vent. This came in a carburetor adjustment kit that HIPA sent me. It's a tach hour meter. Want to thank them for that too. That helped us out a lot. I also blew out the unit with compressed air, and I cleaned the muffler and the spark arrestor. And I see no reason a man or woman couldn't use this blower pretty much trouble-free for the next 2 to 3 seasons or more if you store it properly and maintain it. If I were storing this blower for, say, 2 or 3 months or more, I would do exactly this, what the owner's manual tells you here. You can pause it if you want to. If I were to put this blower up for sale, I'd probably ask around 80 to 100 bucks. It's in great shape, it's clean, nothing is broken. Echo is a great brand name, and this is generally known as an excellent blower with good power. And I want to say thanks to my friends at HIPA Store Dot Com for being a part of this video. If you have an Echo PB2100 blower and you want one of these low cost refurbished kits, I have a link to their website to order this kit. I will also include a link to their store website if you would like to search their website for a specific low cost quality part for your machine. And they really do make getting your machine back to running a lot easier and cheaper, as you have seen here. I hope this video helps you out with your Echo PB2100 blower. This was a fun blower to work on and get running again. Please let me know what you think of these blowers or your experiences with Echo blowers in the comments section if you have one. Stay tuned for more DIY small engine repairs coming up. And check out some of my other videos on my YouTube and BitChute channel, Big Al Small Engine. Until the next time, blessings from my shop to yours.